Alright, hey, my name is Matty Bailey, and this is the video on how I bring my soul to the city of Memphis. So kind of how I bring my soul, not only to the university, but to the city as a whole. I'm going to start off to actually when I was born. So in 1996, I was actually born in the city of Memphis. So that's kind of like just what originally brought me here. And I grew up a little bit in the city, and then at the age of 10, which is pretty young, I moved out to Brighton, Tennessee in Tipton County. So I always felt like I was a small town kid growing up, even though I spent that first 10 years in the city of Memphis. But that move really disconnected me from this city, unfortunately. And so growing up, I never really liked that small town feel, and Memphis was always this place of like, I want to go back there, I want to go back to the city. Things are happening in the city, people are in the city, and things to do are in the city. So that's kind of like what drew me back to Memphis when I was starting to apply to colleges and tour different universities. University of Memphis was always at the top of my list in that regard. And so that's kind of like what's kept me in Memphis, like to stay here. So I've been here now for 4 years, finishing up my undergrad. I'm a senior at the University of Memphis studying English with a plan to go into teaching, so the field of education. And so I actually just got accepted into the Memphis teacher residency, which has kept me here for the next 4 years as well, which I'm really excited about to kind of like start this new journey, but kind of like continuing like this like establishment that I've made these past 4 years of my undergrad in the city. Now I get to kind of reap what I've sowed through those 4 years and continue in the city that I love. So what I love about the city, I think like everybody else, I mean, I love the food, like any true Memphian does. I mean, no one can beat Central Barbecue's barbecue nachos. They're like the best food I've ever had. But aside from the food, I've loved just discovering new things about the city. Really just like finding these nicks and corners of the city that like you wouldn't find just like through a tour. And it really takes years. Being in the city to find them, and so that's something I really enjoyed. And like most importantly, I've enjoyed the people that I've met in Memphis have been truly amazing, and I've really got to create this family, not through blood but through land in the city of Memphis, which has been really important to me. So how does kind of like mentioning Memphis teacher residency earlier, how does that play into like this whole idea of like the city of Memphis? So one thing is like they're huge on like social change in this area. So their mission is to like help with educational equity in the city. So like putting people in schools in the city of Memphis and giving these students who are don't really have a choice but to be in these schools the same opportunity that another student in the same city has when it comes to education and in their future careers or whatever they decide to pursue. So that mission is really important to me, and one of the reasons that I decided to pursue and agree to like commit to Memphis teacher residency was because I feel like our missions aligned in that way, and also they believe in like I think one of the biggest issues now is educational inequality, and so like they believe that we're not just going to sit by and watch this problem persist. We're going to like take action and do something about it, or at least not ignore it and just be present in the problem. And I think that really does exemplify the soul of Memphis. I remember I got a tour of Memphis one time, just like a history tour, and they talked about the yellow fever and how it hit Memphis in the 1800s and how it killed thousands of people. And during this time of death and disease and just confusion and mystery, like no one knew why these deaths were occurring, Memphis persisted and really like came together, and Memphians like strengthened together through that. And I think that really exemplifies like the resilience of like what Memphis is. And I think now like our modern plague is educational inequality, and so I think having that Memphian soul is about being resilient during moments like this where it feels like there's not a lot of hope, and then tackling that, or at least acknowledging the issue, is important, and what having true soul is about. So how do you invest in Memphis? I would say it doesn't really take like strong action to invest in Memphis. I think being here, I think committing to this city, I think believing in the city and that change is possible, and believing that there are already so many good things present here is what it means to invest in the city, which is really like what I'm just trying to do in my undergrad and in MTR now. And so like what does it mean to bring your soul here? I think that can mean different things for everybody, but I think most importantly it's about bringing who you are bringing your individual self to the city, and also recognizing like the history that's in this land, not ignoring it, but acknowledging it and embracing those two worlds together. So who you are and what this land is and what it represents, and kind of like bringing that together. I think that's what it means to like kind of bring your soul to the city. And so, what is the soul of Memphis? Once again, I'm going to kind of reference the story of the yellow fever. It's about resilience and strength. It's about recognizing the problems that are still here, but it's also about recognizing the beauty that we have as well. I think it's about challenging the stigma and stereotype that surrounds this city, and showing people that stereotypes are often not true, and that you need to really look at the individual to see the heart of Memphis and all that it can bring.